The Centre for Inquiry defends freedom of expression at the UN Human Rights Council. A new report critiques the movement at the United Nations that would prohibit defamation of religions. United Nations Geneva, September 17, 2008. As a coalition of Islamic states leads a movement to restrict freedom of expression that defames religion, the Centre for Inquiry is speaking at the 9th session of the United Nations Human Rights Council in Geneva to defend liberty to doubt, dissent and blaspheme. At a September 17 briefing of the Council, CFI, Centre for Inquiry, released a new position paper which critiques an effort led by the Organisation of the Islamic Conference to undermine the universality of human rights. The Organisation of the Islamic Conference, the OIC, an umbrella organisation of 57 Islamic states, has appropriated the traditions of Islam and Islamic law to contend that so-called Western conceptions of universal rights do not apply to their citizens. This effort has penetrated even the Human Rights Council, the HRC, the United Nations body charged with defending universal rights. In place of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, members of the OIC have adopted rival declarations, including the 1981 Universal Islamic Declaration of Human Rights and the 1990 Cairo Declaration on Human Rights in Islam. Despite official claims that they are complementary, both undermine equality of persons and freedom of expression and religion by imposing restrictions on nearly every human right based on Islamic Sharia law. In the HRC, a March 2008 resolution assigned the Special Rapporteur for Freedom of Expression with the task of reporting abuses of free speech that offends religious belief. Non-governmental organisations have been silenced. Meanwhile, the General Assembly has passed yearly resolutions combating the defamation of religions and Islamophobia. However, believers are already protected from dangerous incitement by existing human rights instruments. The new proposals seek nothing less than a blasphemy prohibition to protect belief itself. Rights belong to individuals, not ideas, states the Centre for Inquiry report titled Islam and Human Rights, Defending Universality at the United Nations. It describes the efforts of the OIC and its political allies seek to create a parallel system of human rights, and how some UN agencies are considering the integration of defamation of religions into international human rights law. Such an outcome would be legally indefensible, morally objectionable and politically disastrous, according to the report. Now here are the recommendations that the Centre for Inquiry make. 1. Permit free discussion of religious matters at the HRC. When states use religion or culture as a justification for either human rights resolutions or transgressions, they must not be granted immunity from criticism, regardless of the sensitivities or cultural particularities involved. 2. Restore the original mandate of the Special Rapporteur for Freedom of Expression. The proper limits to free expression and threats to religious liberty are addressed by existing instruments. An official who protects free speech cannot simultaneously limit it. 3. Reject the concept of the defamation of religions. Believers deserve protection. Beliefs do not. Member states must move to stop these resolutions by the General Assembly and prevent the legal entrenchment of the concept of defamation of religions. And finally, clarify the status of Islamic human rights. HRC members and UN member states generally must voice their concerns about the Islamization of rights discourse and its consistency with universal standards. On Friday, September 19th, representatives of the Centre for Inquiry address the Human Rights Council main session on the topic of the defamation of religions. Past interventions by non-governmental organisations in favour of secularism have been interrupted by representatives of the OIC, the Organisation of the Islamic Conference. Have a look on the video description for the CFI position paper and sign up for the Centre for Inquiry. My question to you is this: which news is more important to spread around to your friends? The loss of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights to Islam? Or who's got the worst voice on X Factor? Admittedly, there are some pretty bad ones, especially that woman who